All the kids learned about me from one young individual that influenced my life. A good friend of mine, Quentin Jacobson, his son Brooks was the first youngster that I took hunting. And it just spread like wildfire through the school. All the kids, they wanted to go. I went to a football game, had 20 kids follow me, ask me, will you take me hunting? Will you take me hunting? Well, I've never been one to say no. I'm gonna take everyone that I can. Kinzer was one of the lucky ones that Brooks invited, and we were able to take him out that day with his buddies, and that's where it all started.
The guys picked me up at the gas station across the street, and I got in, I had my camo with me at school, and killed a turkey within like 15 minutes after they picked me up from school. So we went back and I got 2 more guys, and they both killed turkeys, and got 3 turkeys in one day after school, and just seeing the reaction was just awesome.
My first impression of Kinzer was just this young kid, so happy to be out there enjoying what at that time I didn't know that he was so passionate about, but I could just tell in the smiles, grinning from ear to ear the whole day, just having a good time with his buddies, and that's what it's all about. That kid is incredible. Like, he would do anything for anybody.
I've known Kinzer since we were both young. We grew up together. We went camping, fishing, boating. He's been like a little brother to me.
I had the pleasure to meet Turner 4 years ago. I was able to go out hunting on that day with Turner and Kinzer, and to do that was something special.
Heck yeah, buddy.
I got a decent shot and it dropped dead in its tracks. It made me feel wonderful.
It was hugs and cheers and high fives, and it was a super, super day, and couldn't have asked for more, and Turner and me have been buddies ever since.
So in the spring of 2014, I went on a snow goose hunt down in northwest Missouri. So we get home and there's this kind of almost viral thing going across Facebook and social media, and it was called the Plunge for Landon. And it was probably the end of March when I got nominated. And it was a couple weeks later that we all got our schedules together and we were gonna do this Plunge for Landon. Right before we went into the water, one of the people in the group said, "Hey, are either of you gonna go head first?" And I've always kind of been the wild card of the group. And even though the water was 34 degrees, I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I turned around and I went in head first. And immediately after diving head first, I knew that I had broken my neck. My son at the time was 2.5 years old, and he's on the beach sitting there playing. And all I could think of was that I'm not gonna let him watch me die.
The first time that I actually got to spend some time with Cole was at his benefit after his accident.
That was kind of where the relationship started. And then I would see Jeremy every year at the Iowa Deer Classic after that, and he'd be like, "Man, we gotta go hunting together. We gotta go hunting together."
It took a long time for Cole to agree to actually come down and go hunting with us.
He told me, "Buddy, this year is the year. We're gonna go hunting together. We're gonna get this to work out, and I'm not taking no for an answer."
He hunted with me for 3 days, and then Kinzer struck gold with him on the fourth final day, so that was awesome.
We show up at the blind, and it's this old bean crib, shed that has been turned into a deer blind. And it's about 16 inches elevated off the ground. And so I tell him, I say, "Listen, this isn't gonna work. I weigh 180 pounds, you maybe weigh 130, this isn't gonna work." And he says, "Yeah, it's gonna work. I'm gonna bear hug you and get you up into there."
And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick me up and get me in there. I was like, I'll get you in there. I'm a strong kid. And, so I bear hugged him and picked him up out of the track chair and took everything I had to get him in there.
The first phone call I got that day was, we just got in the blind, and they were dealt some, a situation with Cole's chair and stuff. It wouldn't fit through the blind door, so that was the first call after they got in there. And then right at dark, I got a picture.
I bet it was like the last 10 minutes of light, not even maybe. That deer steps out.
And right here he is. I was able to kill many good deer from a tree stand with a compound bow, before my accident, but never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I'm gonna kill the biggest deer, a 6x6 typical, from a wheelchair. It just doesn't happen.
I got right on the phone. I called them up real quick. They were just ecstatic, having a great time. I mean, it's what it's all about.
9 out of 10 people would have just said, this isn't gonna work. And he wasn't gonna take, this isn't gonna work for an option. He knew just as well as I did, for the best opportunity for a good hunt that night was to get me in that blind and make it happen, and he made it happen.
So Marshall was, we call him a 32-weeker. He came 2 months early. I remember the nurse coming in one morning and telling me that he had a temper. From then on, it was just how Marshall has always been full of energy, a go-getter. That's what we said. That's why he came so early. He just couldn't wait to get out. He is all boy, hunting, fishing, and sports.
I'm not sure where Marshall got his, orneriness, but it was special. Like, it reminded me a lot of myself, always picking on my sister or, causing my parents grief, whatever the case may be, wouldn't listen. I feel that Marshall kind of had some of them traits, but ran into him at Ludlow's Steakhouse one night, and Marshall was like, hey, will you take me hunting? But at the same time, Marshall was an ornery kid, just like me, growing up. He's picking fun at me, stealing my hat at the restaurant, being, just being an ornery kid. And I was like, well, hey, I'm not gonna take you hunting, Marshall, if you don't straighten up and, start, start minding your manners. And boy, he just straightened right up.
Marshall was 6 years old in kindergarten with his mohawk, and Jeremy stopped by our house early one morning before school and picked him up and took him turkey hunting. And so he got his first turkey when he was 6.
Yeah, I was 6 and I had a mohawk. And Jeremy took me out turkey hunting and I shot my first turkey. That's what I remember.
To watch him grow up in the last 4 years since we went hunting for the first time, it's been absolutely amazing how he just interacts with the adults. He wants to learn. He wants to be involved in conversation. He's one of them special kids, a lot like Kinzer, that I really feel that will have a special place at giving back outdoors, helping others, and that's where his heart is, and I'm super, super proud of Marshall.
When I say he used to be quite the wild child, I am not joking. And all of a sudden, I sat, I would sit down for dinner with all the GBO guys, and here's Marshall right next to him, having a full-grown adult conversation. But it just seemed like just the other day, he was, tackling me down to my knees, wanting to wrestle and being so rambunctious. But through the outdoors and the things that Jeremy and the other people at Giving Back Outdoors have taught him, he has grown a respect for the people older than him and the people around him and the outdoors and the things that it has provided him.
Claire was 10 years old when I took her out for the first time. I think she was a little hesitant about going, so she asked if her brother could come along. I said no problem, and so we went out on this big old adventure, and boy was it ever an adventure.
My brother finds his first turkey, shoots it, and he's done. 8 turkeys later, I killed my first turkey. It was a long day. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I shot my first turkey and it was a great experience and I've never looked back.
Fast forward, time flies. Claire's 17 years old now and she is just a fabulous young lady. She's turned into quite the little huntress. She's hooked. She's introduced other females to the outdoors and gotten her friends involved. I feel in the short time that she's been involved, she could be a mentor. She's caught on really, really fast, and she just loves it. And we're glad to have her be part of the team, and what a special young lady. 6 years ago, before GBO was even founded, I met Bradley Hannawalt. And just what a tremendous soul, tremendous guy. He'd been through hell.
You know, I can remember a time where I was sleeping in my sleeping bag, and I woke up and I could feel something crawling on my arm, and it was a scorpion. It was just weird because that night it had snowed, so that scorpion was searching for a warm place. And I mean, that was when I realized that like everything in Afghanistan is trying to kill you. Like the elements, the animals, the people, like it was just, I was like, oh man, you know, it was a surreal moment to say the least. Couldn't sleep the rest of the night. So I deployed in April, and then June, I was injured the first time. We did a big mission called Strong Eagle 1. They drew up a sand table before this mission, and they were like, hey guys, look, like once you get here, top alert. Like this is where they hit you. But they hit us a mile before that point, so we weren't even ready. And we're all just motoring along, looking back to see where everybody else is, and an RPG hits us in the side. And then another one immediately hits us in the front of our engine block. So our truck dies. 3 more RPGs hit our truck, and small arms fire just totally disable our truck. So they break all the glass, like you can't see out because it's all cracked and spidered. Our fire suppression system's going off, it's black smoke up front, and we're just totally disabled, trying to call on our radios and nothing. It was kind of all blurry after that. I have an award, like an end of tour award, where they basically sum up everything you've done for that tour. And they said out of the 365 days we were there, we had like 320 firefights. So we fast forward, we come home, and nobody was the same after that. Like we were all different, we didn't talk. We lost our youth. And that's where it got hard for me because I was all alone. Like here I have a wife and 3 daughters, and I didn't feel good. But I hid it from them to try to be tough. It just backfired on me, like everything got worse. And my wife grinded, she'd stay beside me. And, you know, I turned to like alcohol and drugs and all that to try to fill that void. You know, I almost committed suicide a few times, and she just pushed me to find something. In 2015, I met Jeremy in a turkey hunt, and that's when it all changed.
Bradley is not the same man that he was the day that I met him. His growth and the man that he's become is something very special.
I love how Jeremy takes time and Kinzer takes time out of their day when I'm down for the weekend or the week to spend time with me. I don't think I'll ever have enough of giving back outdoors because that means a ton to me.
Giving back outdoors is pretty special and important to me. I think other kids should get involved because it gives them something to do and it's fun.
Since Marshall has gotten involved with giving back outdoors, he has learned patience. He has learned how to control his hyperactive behavior. He's really calmed down. And he has said that when he gets older to where he can be a guide and how Kinzer helps out the kids, he wants to do what Kinzer does too.
These events that they put on, these hunts that they take people on, the fishing trips, they don't come free. And if there is anyone out there that is sympathetic or empathetic to the situations like I am in or veterans are in, if you have the ability, if you have the means, I don't know what else to say, but please.
I believe that someone should donate to Giving Back Outdoors because they realize that they're giving to something bigger than a hunt. It's about the experiences and the things that they gain from it more than just if the trigger is pulled or not.
It's not just a hunt, it's life-changing.
I'm more of a positive person, and I just know I have a family behind me now. That's like everything a soldier needs, is to feel belonging and a sense of purpose.
That first moment when I took Brooksy Jacobson hunting, I knew that that was what I was supposed to do. The growth that we've already done in a short 2 years, it's astronomical. We're not looking to put the brakes on. We're full steam ahead.
Yes!
Woo, baby!
All right, Cooper.
I feel the hunting aspect of things, a lot of people let it get away from them. And that's something that I want to teach every young soul that I can teach, that it's about the camaraderie, it's about the giving back, it's about spending time with your friends and family, and introducing new people to hunting, because it's a way of life.